Hey, I am Para and welcome to one of my mega cuts. I normally post these when my life is on fire, my chronic illness has flared up to the point that I can't record, or there's just some other vague reason why I couldn't record/pre-record. So even though it's recycled content, which I don't love doing, I hope that you enjoy it nonetheless. But I couldn't do this without giving you a proper intro. So go grab a drink, I've got tea. Maybe get a snack, consider liking the video, consider subscribing, and I will see you on the other side. Well, if one of us is wrong, then one of us is stupid, and I'm not stupid, so you're stupid. Hey everybody, welcome or welcome back. It is warm! I am sweating. I do not want this on my face right now, and I am streaming tonight. So it's probably gonna stay on my face, but anyway, today I thought we would talk. I wanted to have a talk, so I'm not reacting to anything. I might put some stuff on the screen to back up what I'm saying, but let's have a chat. I was watching a FNAF theory, like I watch many, but it was specifically by Gibby Horror Homestead, and he was saying some really interesting things, and it got me thinking specifically about the paranormal. The FNAF community has been dubbed one of the most toxic communities on the internet. Now, there are many one of the most toxic communities on the internet, like the beauty community is another one that I can think off the top of my head. The mental health community, another one. Basically, pretty much any community has the ability to be one of the most toxic. Oh, my camera's not going. And I want to talk about why that is. Because I think many debunkers would also agree that the paranormal community at times can be one of the most toxic communities. And I think at this point, it's not the subject matter. It's just people. It is people being people. Specifically, it is unhealed people being unhealed people. So this happens for many reasons. I've seen quite a few people talk on it just generally, but it was Gibby that sort of prompted me to make this video. If my hair could stop falling in my face, that would be great, but also like still kind of look cute. It's the middle ground. That's what I'm going for. Anyway, there's no transition screen. Oh, there will be, because I still need to fit in my disclaimer. So grab a drink, get comfy. I'm gonna waffle at you for a bit. Maybe consider liking the video, maybe consider subscribing if I'm extra lucky. But let's not that way. Let's get into the video. So why does the internet breed this kind of hate? Why are people so likely to attack another person for believing something different? Well, it happens for a few reasons. And I have my notes on my laptop, so don't mind me. The first reason is that people tie their beliefs and their interests to themselves. A lot of people don't know who they are outside of, I am a mother, I am a daughter, I am a wife. Why am I only giving female examples? I don't know. I'm a brother, I am a husband, I am a teacher, I am an office worker, I am someone who likes FNAF, I am someone who likes ghosts, I am someone that doesn't believe in ghosts, I am someone who believes in God, I am Christian, I am Muslim, I am pagan, I am. But that's not actually what people are. People just are. And outside of that, people have beliefs. Now, because some people get so stringently tied to their ideals and to their beliefs and to their interests, they just stay locked in that version of them. They never consider a contrasting belief. They never grow as a person. They never change their mind. They never grow anything or leave anything behind. They just keep cycling in that same pattern. Now, not everybody is like this. I'm talking about a very specific type of person. And when you are met with a person like this, say this person believes wholeheartedly that ghosts are real. And we'll get a bit more specific than that. They believe wholeheartedly that, well, we get this a lot with Twin Paranormal. So they believe wholeheartedly Twin Paranormal are telling the truth. They are not faking in any way. They're not embellishing. It is raw. It is real. It is exactly how they show it. And then you come along and you're like, I saw that wire. Look, you can see it right here. And then you show it. Or I know how they did that. And then you show how they did that. Or even if you're like, I'm pretty sure, not 100%, but I'm pretty sure they did it like this. You are now no longer, to that person, you are now no longer critiquing Twin Paranormal. You're critiquing them because they believe Twin Paranormal. And what happens is that person can't hold these two different beliefs and they can't critically think about it because all of this happens on a subconscious level. You have to try really hard to bring it out into the conscious mind. And some people are better at that than others. But it's a split-second reaction of, I either believe what I think I know, I listen to this other opinion, and I consider it. And humans are hardwired to remove pain immediately, as quickly as possible. Get away from the pain or the discomfort, because discomfort counts as pain. So when this person is presented with these two opposing viewpoints, they're going to shut it down. And the fastest way to shut it down without pain, without discomfort, without any of that, is to attack the person saying it, to discredit them, to threaten them, to whatever. It is, well, if one of us is wrong, then one of us is stupid, and I'm not stupid, so you're stupid. How could you think that? That kind of thing. Obviously, it can get a lot more vile than that, but we're keeping it tame. So that also goes into two other points that I want to make. One is cognitive dissonance, which is the ability to hold two conflicting beliefs at the same time. This is something that's really, really worked on in DBT, which is dialectical behavioural therapy, which I've done a fair amount of, because a lot of people, it is this or that. It is black or it is white. It is right or it is wrong. It is one or it is the other. And this sense of grey that should and is so present in everything doesn't exist. Not allowed. That's not closure. That's not it. No, it has to be in a box. It has to have a label. It has to be put away. And if you want to actually challenge your viewpoints and see how you actually feel about something, learning how to play with cognitive dissonance is actually a really good skill for that. So it's like, I play with cognitive dissonance on a daily basis, and it's a really fun thought experiment. So it's like, I just sat there for like a good 5 minutes, like, I don't know what to think. I don't know what I can't think of an example, but it's like, you can upset somebody without meaning to upset anybody. Your intentions can be pure, but you can still upset someone. And in that moment, you are faced with a cognitive dissonance example or situation. Whereas you've hurt someone and it was not your intention to hurt someone. They don't go together. So that's why a lot of people go, well, I didn't mean to, you're just too sensitive, blah, 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 and go off at you, and you're just like, hey, you hurt me. No, I'm a terrible person, I can't do anything right, and that sort of thing. They can't hear you. They can't do the cognitive dissonance dance. Whereas if you're better at cognitive dissonance and someone goes, hey, you hurt me, and you can go, okay, I've hurt somebody. I didn't mean to. Both of these statements can be true. So then you can go, okay, I am sorry that I hurt you, and I also did not mean to. So you're holding two true statements. I think that's why I like the phrase so much, that there is three sides to every story, person A's, person B's, and the truth. Because everybody sees everything through their own lens, through their own projection. And just because you see it one way doesn't mean it's exactly like that. It also doesn't mean you're lying. You're just skewed. Everybody is skewed through their own lens, and being able to step back enough to try and get out of your own bullshit to see things from other people's point of view is a really, really good and incredibly lacking skill in today's society, or in society in general. I also feel like this sort of behaviour gets worse in groups. When you're only interacting with like-minded people, you're creating an echo chamber, and not doing that, or that not accidentally happening, can be quite challenging. It was quite funny, like sometime last year, one of the discords that I run, we got accused of being an echo chamber because we weren't allowing toxic behaviour. And they're like, oh, this place is an echo chamber, it's not safe to disagree, blah, 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 blah. And they left. Or they got banned, I don't remember which. And a load of us in this group were just like, what just happened? Because we disagree with each other all the time, but we do it maturely. We're like, and then one person's like, hey, I have this point of view. And we're like, cool, I can totally see why you see it like that. I do not agree. This is what I think. And we have mature and healthy discussions back and forth, and we don't scream and rage at anybody for having a different opinion, like mature adults. So we sarcastically named the group the Echo Chamber, which is great. But I feel like online social circles are beginning, or not even beginning, are straight up mimicking like old-fashioned tribes. It's just a group of like-minded people that all come together and that keep each other safe. And with that, if we're following down that train of thought, it also leads us into some pretty interesting thought experiments of, if that is true and online communities are sort of like our more modern day tribes, because all of us are becoming more and more and more isolated. We're not living in groups anymore. We're not really living in our set families. A lot of the time we don't even talk to our biological families, and we are having to find our chosen families. Especially in the West, we are so singular, and that is not how humans were designed to live at all. We are inherently pack animals. So if online spaces are becoming our new packs, then humans are also, and this is a conversation I've had with my psychologist a lot, humans automatically reject anything that is not safe. Because what is safe is known, and what is known is safe. And even if something new is better, it's not known. So that is scary and that is bad. Which is why people from like bad pasts will repeat the same cycles with different people. Like, for example, the other week I was struggling and I couldn't figure out why I was struggling, and then it clicked. And I walked up to my boyfriend and I went, I'm struggling right now because it's too calm. We're not arguing. We're not yelling at each other. You're safe. And my brain does not like that. And he went, oh, thanks. And I was like, no, it's a good thing. But my brain doesn't like it, because for the past 26, or the first 26 years of my life, that was not the case. So being in a healthy relationship is boring. It's scary. It's not known, but it's good. It's exactly what I need, and it's exactly what I want. But this primal back part of my brain that's like, no, this I can't predict this. I don't know what's coming next. And then you finally make a good friend that buys you a Sims pack and you're on the floor for 3 days because you're like, why? Someone was nice to me. I don't know what to do with this information. I don't like people being mean to me, but I'm used to people being mean to me. I know what to do with that. I don't know what to do with someone being nice to me. How do I process this with my... It took me like a good week of just like, why? I only asked her why once, but why? I've sort of settled into it now, like, she's a sweetheart. But yeah, it really threw me off because I haven't had great friends in the past either. But this is what I mean about what is known as safe. Even if you don't like it, it's predictable. You know the rules. And then when you go into healthier environments, you don't know the rules. And it's all new and it's all scary and it's like, it triggers your nervous system. You go into fight and flight over someone being nice to you, for Christ's sake. And this, I see this a lot. And as I'm healing, I am becoming so much more isolated from everybody. I can't stand most people. And I'm blessed to have a really good community growing here. But I cannot stand most people because the analogy I've used with my psychologist is it feels like everybody in the world is in a stadium and most people are down on the field in the thick of it, can't see the woods through the trees, and is just emotionally reacting and going off and shouting and swearing and whatever and being inherently unhealthy and unhealed. And the more I have healed, the more I have gone further and further up in the stands to where I am just observing. And I feel like I'm so far removed and just observing everybody just being pieces of shit, to be honest. Not everybody, but a vast majority of people. And it's not until you start healing and unpacking your own bullshit and your own generational curses and all that, that you really start seeing this. And I will never stop growing. I will never stop trying to better myself because there is nothing worse, in my opinion, than being stagnant. Nothing worse. And everyone's allowed their own viewpoint on that, but that is mine. So I went off on a bit of a tangent on that one, but yes, being able to hold two conflicting beliefs is not easy or doable for the vast majority of people. And when someone feels threatened like that or attacked like that, they are going to sound off. And specifically, I want to talk a bit about theories now, because specifically the debunking community, I've said this before, but debunkers are theorists. We are theorizing science. We are theorizing ghosts. We are theorizing how these fake channels pull off their tricks, because essentially that's what they are. They are illusions, or they are a form of trickery. And it's like debunking first started with like Houdini and all of that, because they knew the tricks of the trade and they could be like, that medium is levitating that table like this, or whatever. That's just an example. So we are theorists. We don't know if ghosts are real any more than the person spouting that ghosts are real. It's like, I got a very tame hate comment. I did a video on it because why not? And in that video, they told me I don't do research. First of all, yes I do, and I've proved that. Love doing my research. Secondly, they told me to go do my research. So I did, specifically at the thing they told me to look at, which was quantum physics. It was either quantum physics or quantum mechanics. I get those two muddled up. And I found this scientific article specifically about how ghosts would work, and it thoroughly debunked it. Ghosts, if they exist, would have to follow the rules of the universe, just like everything else. And in the sense of how ghosts are typically portrayed, that does not work. Now, maybe I have a fan on, it keeps blowing my hair in my mouth, but maybe ghosts are different from how we perceive. Maybe they are something else, or it's more of a time leak or a timeline crash or something. We don't know. I'm not saying that the paranormal is ghosts. I am saying the paranormal is a phenomenon of something that cannot be explained. And what I also think is a lot of the time we get caught up arguing over the same things. So my definition of a ghost is a dead person who stayed. But somebody else's definition of a ghost could be any non-living entity that could be interacting with our environment. And I'm saying ghosts aren't real, but something could be real. But they're saying ghosts are real. And we mean the same thing, but we're using different words. And that's why language makes this so difficult as well. And it's also been proven that language and the language you speak also changes what means the most to you. So like I don't understand verbs, nouns, whatever. So this is going to be a terrible explanation. But in English, we say things like the big house, the white cat, the tall fan. I don't know. But in something like French and maybe Spanish, I'm not sure about Spanish, but it's French, you say the fan tall, the cat white, the house big. So what you prioritize in your sentences and your structure in your words actually has a psychological impact on what is more important to you. And also you need to take into account culture as well. Like I was watching something on Closure and they were saying in England we're quite guarded. Like we will, or we could be complimenting you and absolutely despise you, or we could be roasting the shit out of you and you're our best friend. What we say doesn't necessarily add up to how we feel. Whereas in somewhere like America, they're quite, obviously there's nuance in it, there's nuance in everything, but they're quite open with how they speak. It's if they don't like you, they don't like you, and if they like you, then they like you. It's more clear. And that's one of the things me and my ex-girlfriend used to run into. It's like I would be more jokey and sarcastic and bantery, and then she would get upset every 5 minutes because she just didn't get it. And I toned it right back because I don't want to do something that actively upsets someone. But that didn't help. But that says more about her as a person than that does about my ability to rein in my humour, because it got to the point where I just completely stopped. And so when we are interacting with people online, we are interacting with people of many languages. We are interacting with people with many different morals, with many different cultures, with many different viewpoints. And that is going to come with a lot of clashing. But at the same time, people just generally need to do better at not giving somebody death threats because their theory's not up to their standard. Like, I'm pretty sure Beardo's got death threats. I don't know about any of the other debunkers. MatPat, a theorist from game theory, from film theory or whatever, he had to go into hiding with his family because somebody didn't like his Sonic the Hedgehog theory. And there's loads of this. There is hate comments, there is death threats, there is name calling. It's vile, it's disgusting. And it's across fandoms, and it's across the paranormal, and it's across everything. Disagreeing with somebody doesn't mean that you can treat people like that. And I know a lot of the people watching this video don't treat people like that. And I also want to acknowledge that. But there is a small majority of people that do. And that is a problem. And I don't remember if I've touched on this point already or not, but humans are also wired to need closure. We need to complete a task, it is done, we move on. It's why mysteries are so appealing, because you need to find the answer. It's why FNAF blew up the way that it did. It's why the paranormal is so compelling. It is why you get angry when they cancel your favourite TV show after a cliffhanger. Humans are wired to need that closure, because once it's closed, it's done and you can move on and it's safe. And different people have different levels of that need for closure. It's It's called and the need for cognitive closure. So you either have low NFC, which you're absolutely fine leaving things unresolved. You don't need to text your ex to find out why they're a toxic piece of shit. You are fine when they cancel the TV show after the most insane cliffhanger ever. And you're fine walking away from a toxic friend with absolutely no word. You're just done and you're gone. And then there are people that have a high NFC that need solid, certain answers and now. And I think it's the people with the high NFC that are the ones more prone to these type of toxic behaviors of the death threats and of everything. Like a FNAF, for a more tangible example, I'm going to lean on FNAF for a minute. Hi! You come to say hi. You've been very present in these videos just lately. Yeah, you have. And you're like, oh, Mummy's talking to the camera again. I must have my 5 minutes of fame. 5 minutes of fame. Well, look. Okay, I'll put you down. There you go. When the security logbook came out for FNAF, people scoured it, pulled it apart. It was kind of like an ARG book. And we very loosely found the name Evan for the crying child. It was like the first 3 letters followed a pattern of events, and then you really had to stretch to make it work for the last letter. So it was always a bit... But that had been like, Evan's probably his name for many years. I can't remember how many exactly. And then somewhat recently, I think it was Hyperdroid, it might not have been, has potentially cracked the code on the crying child's name. And there was, I can't remember what page, it might have been the word search, but you got the letters EVAD, and IVAD isn't a word. But on the mirroring page, on the next page, there's a mirror, and mirrors mirror things. So if you flip EVAD around, you get Dave. And it is very likely, again, not confirmed, and it won't be confirmed until either Scott says that his name's Dave, Steelwall says that his name's Dave, or we get a cute little picture of the crying child with a label that says Dave, or something similar. So it's still a theory right now, but people went off the deep end when even the concept of the crying child's name not being Evan came up. It was ridiculous. And at the end of the day, if you are that dysregulated over anything, whether it can be tangibly proved or not, you need to go touch grass. Get off the internet, touch grass, hug a tree, book some therapy sessions. I don't know what to tell you. But if you're that destabilized by things, you need some professional help. And what people need to remember is that unless something can be tangibly proved in some way, it is just a theory. But people don't seem to do that. And you can even see that in like game theory, for example, the YouTube channel. Is MatPat for years, and I still think it's still their slogan, but MatPat for years ended his theories with, but hey, that's just a theory, and it's become like a meme. And because it became a meme, all sentiment behind it was lost. MatPat became known as like the theory god, and that he knows everything. He knows no more than the rest of us. Arguably sometimes less, because he's got more shit to do than the rest of us. Towards the end, before he retired and handed over to Tom, I think. I don't really watch game theory. His theories were getting quite weak, in my opinion. But that's because he runs, no, he's got a team, but he ran style theory, he ran film theory, he ran, I think, food theory, and also game theory. And he did the live streams, and he was doing whatever else, and having a family. He was busy, and he had a team to run. So, yes, maybe his scary bear theories weren't up to snuff of someone like Rye Toast, or FNAF, or Idy's fantasy or she's always nervous or whatever, because that's literally all they do. I mean, they might do the odd other indie game like Poppy Playtime or whatever here and there, but for FNAF, it's majority all they do. But it is just a theory. It doesn't matter. It's a game. It's a piece of fiction. It does not matter to to your life in the slightest. And it's the same with ghosts. It's the same with the paranormal. Not to the same effect, because there is more emotion caught up in the paranormal, which I do understand, because you've got, you know, your loved ones and everything, and of course you want your loved ones to still be around. Death, no closure in death. There is absolutely no closure in death. It's 1 second they're there, 1 second they're gone, you can never see them again. You couldn't never talk to them again. And a lot of the time we lose people very suddenly and unexpectedly, and that makes that even more hard. Even more hard is a pathetic sentence, but you know what I mean. Even harder, because you never get that final phone call, you never get that final conversation, you never get to say goodbye, and you have to find other ways to try and do it, which is why you end up with the spirit boxes and the mediums and the Ouija boards and the tarot in some instances, and the talking to walls and the continuing bonds. And continuing bonds aren't always a bad thing. I do want to do a video on continuing bonds. But you have the ones where you like see things and you can possibly go into full delusion, and then you have the ones where you're just like, you keep them in your chest, you keep them close. You still have a one-sided relationship with them as you grieve and move on. But it's not the same. And it's not easy. None of it is easy. So I do understand why the paranormal and the debunking community is so emotionally charged, because for a lot of people there is so much on the line. There is everything on the line for some of these people, but that doesn't make it real, and that also doesn't make it not real. And until science definitively proves one way or the other, we don't know, and it is just a theory, and I am going to keep repeating that. That also doesn't mean we're going to stop calling out the people who are actively deceiving you or actively trying to deceive you, because they are the ones causing the real harm. And for a lot of these people who do believe them and give us absolute hate and vitriol, which I thankfully haven't experienced yet, but I'm sure I will, they kind of have to believe in a way. And it's not until they get challenged again and again and again and again and start to see it for themselves that they're gonna wake up. It's like being in a toxic relationship in a way, because that you're not gonna see it until you see it. You're not gonna see it until you're ready. And that is sad, and it is a shame, but it's also a reality. So unfortunately, it's how it is, and all we can do is keep telling the truth and keep hoping that people will listen. So I had to stop this video and go back because I couldn't remember what I was talking about. So I don't actually know how long I've been waffling at you, but let me know, do you like this more sort of chatty video, chatty vibe? I don't mind doing these as much. It's quite nice to take a break from like reacting to people all the time. But yeah, I think I have rabbited at you long enough. Maybe like the video if I did a good job, subscribe if I'm lucky, and maybe go check out some of my other content. I'm in a bit of at the time of recording, I'm in a bit of a flux, so I'm doing like some Sims narrative stuff, I'm doing paranormal debunking stuff obviously, and I'm sort of branching out into other digital things like analog horror, FNAF, maybe Poppy Playtime. I don't know. I'm playing around, I'm seeing what works, I'm seeing what I like. I'm growing, I'm evolving, and that's what we should all be striving for. Learn, grow, evolve. I don't know, don't stay a first generation Pokemon. Be better people. And if we all strive to do that, maybe we can make the world a slightly better place, because it is a mess right now. But anyway, with that, I will leave you to the rest of your day now. I hope it's a good one, and I will see you next time. Bye! We have to ask ourselves, if the paranormal is real, why does it need a protection blanket? Hi everybody, welcome or welcome back. I am Para, and today I want to talk to you about the paranormal community, really. And I am focusing on one channel as a case study because they interacted with me on this. But in the paranormal community, there is a growing dangerous sentiment that objective critique is the same thing as a personal assault. We've reached a point where creators and their fan bases have decided that evidence doesn't matter as much as intent, which is partially what I built Scale off of. And if you aren't coming from a place of positivity, then your facts don't count. This isn't just about ghosts anymore, it's about a total collapse of the line between professional analysis and personal feelings. There's the parasocial relationships with these channels, and it's not just in the paranormal community, but obviously this is my niche, this is what we're talking about. But the parasocial relationships that are being built in these channels don't allow for criticism. And it's not even just the fans either, it is sometimes the creators as well. So that's what I want to delve into today. So go grab a drink. I've got tea in my pumpkin mug. I do have a new mug coming, so I will show that off when it arrives, because I broke my sass when I put it in the dishwasher. The sticker did not like that. Go grab a drink, maybe get a snack, consider liking the video, consider subscribing, and I will see you on the other side. So I recently had an interaction with a channel called Ghost Theory. We've covered them, you guys know. If you don't know, go check out my videos on Ghost Theory. But this channel serves as a perfect case study for this mindset. I tagged them in a video, which is my standard practice for giving credit. I tag every channel because one, it makes it easy to go to the exact channel, and even though I put the video link in, I don't know, I just like to do both. I also feel like if I'm talking about somebody, they have a right to know what I've said. So I tag for credit and transparency. And this is what Ghost Theory said. I will put it on screen. Tagged in this video, but before I watch it, are you talking crap about us, or is there any positivity from this video? What I am trying to ask is, have you tagged us to ruin our day to get views, or have you said something nice? Which for once would be very nice. So for the sake of transparency, I replied, I honestly don't remember what I said now. This is a historic live stream. I tag for credit, not to ruin anyone's day or anything like that. I try to call things as I see them, and if there's anything to credit, I will do that. Even if I don't like the channel. Lee from Really Haunted. I will be honest that from memory, I have not been impressed with what I have seen from your channel. So that was it. That was the entire interaction. And the comment vanished, and I didn't delete it, so Ghost Theory deleted the comment because I didn't reply the way that they wanted me to. Do you notice the immediate defensive posturing? They didn't ask, did you find a flaw in our methodology? Is there a technical error in our footage? Did you see something that we didn't? Etc. They immediately asked if I was trying to ruin their day. This is emotional engineering. By framing a tag as a potential and malicious act, they are attempting to guilt trip the critics, me, into silence before the critique even begins. In their world, there's no such thing as a neutral observation. There is only saying something nice or ruining their day, which is a problem. There's a specific phrase in their comment that does need closer inspection to get views. This is the go-to defensive mechanism for the modern paranormal creator. By claiming a debunker is only doing it for clout or views, they successfully move the goalposts. Now, this isn't just done by creators, this is done by the parasocial fans as well. Suddenly, the conversation isn't about whether the ghost footage is fake or not, it's about what the debunker's finances or motives, which completely changes the conversation. It's a brilliant, if dishonest, redirection. If they can make their audience, or if their audience can make each other or deflect on behalf of the creator, or however you want to phrase that, believe that the debunker is only talking about them for a paycheck, the audience feels they have a moral obligation to ignore the evidence presented. Or it's a way for the audience and the parasocial fans that we keep running into to deflect it themselves and be like, oh, you're only doing it for clout, money, etc. Even if you're not monetized, so they don't have to process that uncomfortable information. They can just dismiss it. It's a way of saying, don't look at the string on the door, look at the guy pointing it out. They're the real villain here. This highlights the death of nuance in this niche. To Ghost Theory and many creators like them, their content is an extension of their identity. And we can also lump in the parasocial fans with this. The creator, the community, the content becomes an extension of them as well because they enjoy it, they like it. So it becomes this big, messy, conglomerate extension of many people's identities. Because they blurred those lines, any scrutiny of the work feels like a blow to them as a person. If you point out a lens flare, you're attacking their character. If you debunk a spirit box session, you're a hater trying to steal their joy. They've successfully turned their audience into a protective bubble where positivity is actually a code word for compliance. If you aren't part of the echo chamber, you're the enemy. And as I said, I replied to them, I was honest, and I told them I tagged for credit not to ruin days. But I also admitted that based on what I've seen from their channel, I haven't been impressed. I didn't call them names, I didn't insult them personally, I gave a professional assessment of their work. And their reaction was to delete their comment. I speculate that they deleted their comment because my response didn't fit the bully narrative that they needed to sustain their victim status. When a debunker stays calm and objective, the victim shield falls apart. They realised that they couldn't paint me as a toxic troll, so they scrubbed the evidence of the conversation instead of actually engaging with the criticism. This is one of the things that Ghost Theory say as well. I'm pretty sure, I'm like 95% sure that one of their complaints is that debunkers don't actually talk to them. They just, you know, nitpick and whine and call them out for shit, but they don't actually engage in a conversation. But because I had stayed neutral and objective, that was the perfect grounds to open up a conversation, whether we did it publicly or not. You know, we could have very easily moved into like emails or DMs or whatever, but they didn't, which is very telling. And as I have said, it isn't just the creators who retreat behind these shields. The positivity trap is enforced by a literal army of fans at times. I've seen it firsthand with the fan bases of the channels like Paranormal Nightmare and Ghost Trip Investigation. So we need to talk about the parasocial contract. In these communities, fans aren't just viewers, they feel like stakeholders. To them, these creators aren't just making YouTube videos, they're providing an emotional service. They're the boys, they're the honest seekers, they're family. When you debunk a clip, the fans perceive it as you walking into their living room and insulting their best friend. In these communities, there's no such thing as a technical critique. If you point out a shadow that is clearly a cameraman, the fans don't look at the shadow, they look at you. It creates a guard dog effect. The moment a debunker tags a creator or offers a skeptical take, the comment section becomes a battlefield. Just look at my GTI comments on TikTok. It's worse than my Paranormal Nightmare comments on YouTube. But notice the weapons that they use. It's rarely, here's why your science or debunk is wrong. It's almost always, why can't you just let them enjoy it? You're just jealous of their views. Stop spreading negativity and do your own investigation. This is the ultimate shield for a creator. They don't even have to delete your comments if their fans make the environment toxic enough that you don't want to engage. It turns the search for the paranormal into a popularity contest. So, when Ghost Theory asked if I was talking crap, they weren't just asking for themselves. They were setting the stage for the bully versus victim narrative that these fan bases thrive on. What we are witnessing is a total abandonment of the scientific method in favour of what I call the emotional method. In science, your goal is to try and break a theory. You want people to critique your work, because if it survives the critique, it's actually worth something. But in the paranormal community, the goal is to protect the theory at all costs. Any attempt to break the evidence is seen as negativity. If we continue down this path, the paranormal field will never move forward. It will remain a cycle of creators faking or exaggerating evidence and fan bases attacking anybody who notices. It's a closed loop of misinformation fueled by the fear of having your day ruined. This is why the paranormal field struggles for legitimacy. When creators or fans prioritise their feelings over facts, we stop being investigators and start being a support group for people who want to believe in ghosts at any cost. We have to ask ourselves, if the paranormal is real, why does it need a protection blanket? If the evidence is solid, it should be able to withstand 1,000 negative comments or videos. The fact that it can't, and the fact that fans have to resort to personal insults to protect the vibe, tells you everything you need to know about the validity of the footage. To ghost theory and anyone who feels like their day is ruined by a tag, criticism isn't a personal attack. If your evidence is so fragile that a skeptical eye feels like a punch in the face, then you aren't documenting the paranormal, you're just telling stories. And stories are fine, but don't get mad when somebody points out the plot holes, or that you're selling it as real and legitimate when it's anything but. And to the fans of these channels, I'm not your enemy. I'm a consumer who wants the truth. If you're more offended by a debunker's tone than you are by a creator potentially faking evidence for clicks, you aren't a paranormal investigator, and you aren't an enjoyer of the paranormal either. You're a member of a fan club, and until we can move past the mean versus nice binary, we will never actually find the truth. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. That was all I had to say on this topic right now, at least. But please let me know what your thoughts, feelings, opinions, etc. are down in the comments. But I have been Para, and this has been a video. If you like the video, consider liking the video and consider subscribing. And maybe go check out another one of my videos. If you would like more Para for whatever reason, this is the other content that I make. And with that, I think I have rabbited at you for long enough, because this was a semi-rant, semi-deep dive. Can't decide which one. Maybe it's both. It could be both.
Both is good.
But yes, I will leave you to the rest of your day now. I hope it's a good one, and I will see you next time. Bye! So that was my mega cut. I hope you enjoyed. If you have one of the older videos in this video, yeah, sure, okay, why not? If you have one of the older videos in this mega cut, then I hope it wasn't too bad. I do like to think that I have evolved my style and definitely my editing / technical ability since starting, which, you know, you'd hope so. You'd hope that would happen as a content creator, that you would grow. Yes, I hope you enjoyed this video nonetheless. But with all that being said, I have been Para, this has been a video. Consider liking the video, consider subscribing, and I will leave you to get back to the rest of your day. I hope it's a good one, and I will see you next time. Bye!
Paranormal Simulations.